Hi, it's Derpy Moose 99 here with episode 5 of Factorio Bobs and Angels. In the last episode, we got our basic circuit boards going here, and you can see we have almost 2,000 of them so far. Our science with the alien life samples has run through the farms, or at least the topics that were available for research, but I'm going to let that circulate because if we go into research, we can see as soon as we get the next level of science going, there'll be a few more things like the hatchery and a couple of things like that we can actually research. So we'll just let the life samples, or alien life samples, what are they called? Alien plant life samples. We'll let them keep circulating on the belt there. And we'll use this other belt here for the next level of science. So the other thing I did, if we go to our main map here just for a moment, I finished upgrading our power. So these are all Mark II steam engines and Mark II boilers. And if we look at our power, we have up to 108 megawatts available. We're using just over a third of it. So we should be okay for a little while, but this is something just to keep an eye on. We're going to keep adding to it and keep adding to it. And we'll go fully expanded, which would be, for me, would be 320 of the Mark II engines and 160 boilers, which will get us 576 megawatts, I think. So we'll keep adding it as we go through the next few episodes. I think the plan for this episode is to do the next level of science, which is called Transport Science Packs, or the red ones in this mod pack. And we'll get those going, and we'll proceed to work on our next level of circuit boards, the basic electronic boards. That means we have to get solder going, and the basic electronic components, which need carbon and a few other things. So let's get started on that and see where we end up. Okay, so here's where we have our other level of science. So my thoughts are, let's bring one out here. Now we could probably build assemblers down here. So let's think about maybe a row of science, something like that. Now these guys are one every 7.5 seconds. So we built our first row of science. This was one every 5.5 seconds. So we doubled that up. Actually slightly more than double. So double would have been 11. We put in 12. So doubling this up, or in other words, to go for like 2 per second, would be 15. So we could probably go 16, which would make sense to me. Alright, so let's look at this. We've got 2 inputs. We've got belts and inserters, and we've got 1 output. So I think the output, that's pretty straightforward. We just want this guy here. Now if we look down, we're already making belts down here. Oh, we were. So let's use that, and then we can just add now let's say we add that. Take this belt up too. And I believe there's room for an output here. I'm probably going to have to run this, yeah, probably down and then back up again. We'll offset one of these. Get rid of the blinky blinkies. Alright, now we have to bring our circuits down, which shouldn't be too hard. If we get the belts oriented the right way, that is. Alright, so we'll go extension. Yeah, just to make sure we actually get some, we don't store it all, why don't we just do this? Alright, so a splitter just before we cache them off, and this other stream here we'll end up using for the next level of circuit boards. We might have to make this a little bit bigger too. So why don't we leave a little room for expansion and just do it this way. That way, if we want to do something like this. Okay, and I've also made quite a few yellow belts in that automated setup down below, so let's go into our yellow belt upgrade. And let's just upgrade this portion of it there. Oops. Okay, and that should give us lots of basic circuit boards down here, and we've got our inserters coming up. Okay, let's go back to building this up. So we're going to come up with the iron, or sorry, up with the belts, and up with the inserters. We probably get away with using one belt for this. Why don't we try that and see how that works? So basically it's just going to look something like that. Outputs are there, that'll be offset. Let's just extend the belt so we can copy. Now 16 of these was our objective, so that's 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Looks like we're going to get it all in there. Okay, bring some power across. Alright, and here was our... Maybe we'll put 2 there. Oops, wrong way around. Oh, or 1 too far. It was a bridge too far. Okay, extend this out a bit. This guy goes around. Okay, and back and pick up our inserters. Alright, belts inserters equals science. Okay, let's just put a few lights here to every second pole. Alright. See our machines working here. There's our first science coming out. Okay, let's go into Shift T and let us see. Now, tool belt is something I always like because I like cramming all kinds of stuff in my inventory. So let's go tool belt first. And what else do we have here? Nanobot range and speed, never bad. Actually, it's double up on that. Fast inserter would be an interesting one, but we don't have the bronze for it. More inserters is an excellent one, actually. I've been reading a lot of people think the Bob's inserters are kind of overpowered, but with the full Bob's and Angel setup, you do all kinds of recipes that have some fairly complex formulas, so I think inserters are well justified and very handy to use. So bronze is something we're going to want to do, but let's have a look. What else do we have here? Iron, manganese, bum, bum, bum. Okay, there's some more of the biological ones. Yeah, nothing really leaking or leaping out at me. Oh, I wanted resin though. So we could do rubber. If we do rubber, Strand casting is a good one. Steel axe, always good. Even two of them. And I think concrete is a good one too. Electronic energy distribution. This gives us a bigger power pole, so let's do that one. Keep bumping our tool belt to the top here. If we have steel axe 3, we don't need steel axe 2. Let's see. Railway, rail transportation, rail signals. Mining productivity, lab research, crafting. And also there was inserter bonus, wasn't it? Let's see. Okay. Alright, that gives us a bunch to play with. So tool belt on top. Maybe let's go lab research 2, speed 2. More inserters, energy distribution, axe. Okay, those are kind of my 4 top priorities, and then we'll let them run out a bit. There's all kinds of fun stuff like stack inserters and things like that, but that's enough for now. Okay, let's have a quick look here, see how we're doing. Okay, it looks to me like we're not getting nearly enough iron up here. Alright, so let's just go into map mode here and do some upgrading. Alright, so if we go right down here, we're going to go to our upgrade planner, yellow belts. And let's just take it right into the crushers. Okay, and right back to there. Now, let's take these guys up. Hopefully I've got enough belts for this. If not, we can just make more, I'm sure. Okay, these yellow belts will be double the speed. Okay, so that should be feeding here well. Let's do the third one as well. That's the other research topic too. Just while I think of it too, let's go back into our Shift T, and there's a advanced material processing. That'll give us steel furnaces, so okay. Now that's yellow belts feeding all the iron. And we still got 635 yellow belts left, so let's get it on the output side of the iron. Okay, feeding gears. And let's take this one up here. Well, we won't do this one down to the right because that's just feeding our saw blades, and that doesn't run very often. Oh, here's a clue that I missed some. What kind of abortion is that? It looks like I put a 4 to 2 in, but I'm taking 3 out of it. Kids, don't do that one at home. Okay, let's just have a look and see how we're doing on our science. That's at a reasonable amount running out. Okay, our assemblers are working better. Let's double up on our iron into our gears. Circuits are strong. Okay, that seems to be reasonable inserter production there. Okay, so up at the top here, let's go output priority, right, and inserters. And I think iron chest sounds like a lot, but let's go for it. We're going to use a lot of inserters. And I don't think we're going to use very much of the basic belts anymore. But let's capture just a wooden box of those. Maybe we'll even put some of these back in here. Okay, accidentally picked up some crushed sapphire during the upgrades. Or sapphirite, I should say. Just put that back. Alright, looks like tool belt's almost done. Let's have a quick look at our labs here. Okay, we're getting enough science to trigger the first 10 labs. I believe though with 16 producing we should be able to fill that whole lineup. Assuming our circuit stays strong. Yeah, it looks like our inserters are coming out strong now that we upgraded the belts to the iron, or from the iron. Alright, now let's go have a look at our main map here. We're going to need a few things to do our next level of circuits. So, let's put down one of these, and let's maybe think about... Now remember, this isn't going to be our permanent base. We're still on an intermediate base. Let's put this guy over here. Let's say let's put 2 down. So that's what we're going to be working for. Say 2 of these. And this is just going to be enough sort of to fill up a silo, or some boxes for us to do construction of higher level machines. So this doesn't have to be like 20 machines producing here, or even as big as our 6 over here doing the basic circuit boards. So we want to work on solder, and solder is, well, let's have a look here. We'll go Control F for what is it used for. We'll say solder. And, oops, that one did not work. Remember, use the second one. Control F. I don't know why it does that, but it seems to have entries that are blank. So molten solder, lead and tin ingots. We don't really need that much solder to start with. So why don't we go... Let's just go with the basic one. So that's in its furnace, solder mixture, lead plates, and tin plates. Okay, I think I'll go off camera and we'll probably, if we look at the main map here, we'll probably just use this rebyte chunk here and make some lead plates and then bring them up, probably up over in this area. The other thing we'll need is carbon, and that's to make circuits. And if we look at, yeah, it's going here. Okay, so gonna end up having to make these things, so we'll need carbon and tin copper wire. So we'll need a line of tin up here as well too. So let me go off camera, work on all that, and I'll be back when I have that ready to go. Hi, okay, we're back, and we have a line of lead coming up from below. I've extended the tin around. While I was doing all that, I noticed that the tin and the copper had slowed down quite a bit. So like we did for the iron, I upgraded the yellow belts all through the process for the tin, right from the mines, and the same for the copper as well too. So now they're fairly strong. Although looking at the copper, if we go over here, copper's not exactly making it to the end of the line here for the circuits. Looks like about 2/3 of them are working. So we may have to add another line, and that's okay. At some point I wanted to use this patch of givelite over here and make some more iron and copper out of that. So we won't be doing that in this episode, but that brings you up to date with where we're at. So the simple recipe for solder here, I put in like 1 basic belt of output. Looks like the ratio is like 5 assemblers to 4 furnaces. And I use the steel furnaces and the assembler twos just because we're going to have those shortly. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we'll do 5 of these, and then we'll take that into 4 steel furnaces. Now, while I was off camera, I also researched the steel furnace advanced material construction. So right now we're busy handcrafting a bunch of steel furnaces, like 300 or 400 of them. So we'll definitely have 4 when we need them here. Okay, so let's get this hooked up, and we'll come pick up. Okay, and we can just throw our power in like that. Now these run 2 every 2 seconds, or 1 a second. So 1 assembler will be fine for those. We won't be balanced on our offsets, but c'est la vie. And let's just go basics for now. Alright, so our ratio was 5 to 4, so we're just going to go into 4 furnaces. Which reminds me that we'll need some coal here. Let's have a look down here. Where's our nearest coal that we can bring up? Alright, full spaghetti. And we might as well just... yeah, and then we can do the output over here. Alright, where's our spaghetti coal? Okay, mixture's going in there. And then output on the outside there. So drop there. You can drop an offset. Okay, let's get some lights going here. Alright, so that should get us solder. So if we have a look here, yeah, solder is going to go straight into these machines. So we can do that. Now, how many solder is it going to need? 1 every 1 second. That should be sufficient. Alright, let's get rid of the blinkies here. And maybe throw some lights so we can see what we're doing. Also, I kind of wanted these to go into... we can belt them if we have to. Now, the next thing we're going to need here, okay, the circuits. Let's bring those over. Okay, so let's remove this. Okay, and then this is going to be interesting as far as output. So I'm just going to want to output them into a... alright, into a silo. So let's just do that. We'll drop them out there. You can drop out there. You can be offset. Yeah, okay, let's make ourselves some space here. We'll just use the yellow undergrounds. Alright, so the excess basics can go into that one. And then you can go in there. Not the most elegant of setups, but we'll do the trick. Okay, so basically that's all they're doing is their second level circuits are just going to come out of here and go into this silo. And our excess basic circuit boards are going to go into this guy. I can just put you in there too. Alright, now that leaves us with the trick of getting getting some more, you know what, I'm not liking this setup at all. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause, I'm going to delete this and just rethink this and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. I think I figured this out a little bit better. The challenge that I was messing with here is these basic electronic boards need quite a few of the basic electronic components per second. So they actually need 5 per second, whereas they only need 1 solder and 1 basic circuit board. So using the Bob's inserters is what I've done. I've come up with the solder is going to come in here, and then these inserters are angled over. If you do this, they're angled over to drop there. These guys are extended to pick up from here. This one is extended to pick up and angled over to drop there. So basically we're going to have, or the plan would be to have 2 yellows of the basic components. So let's go into hell mode with you here. So if we look at this, the basic electronic components, I've selected like a basic belt. It's basically 1 steel furnace making coke into 1 liquefier making carbon, and and tin copper wire into 4 assemblers to make these basic electronic components. Okay, so each one of these lines here will have, well, I'm going to use assembler 1s for now, but it'll be assembler 2s. Okay, I actually should have done that lower. Alright, so it's going to be something like that. Of course, if I put it in the right place, it would be something like that. Just derping away. Alright, let's get rid of the blinky blinkies. And we'll offset these guys. Now we have 1 furnace. Oh, sorry, 1 crusher. Do 1 furnace. Now let's get the furnace fired up first. The reason you want to do that is so it uses the coal, not the crushed coal. Okay, that should be good. And our liquefier. Now there'll be one complication with the liquefier. We're going to need steam here. But let's get the rest of this set up first. Okay, we'll offset you. You can run up. Oh, well done on that. Okay, let's throw a few lights in here. Now, as far as the steam goes, I've made an extra boiler. This is just a simple way of doing it for now. So this coal can power the boiler, and the output can go in there. Now, as far as the water, if we just go down and have a look, when we made our greenhouses here, we ran a water line up. These greenhouses use a very paltry amount of water, 20 water in 60 seconds. So I think we can freely tap off of this. Okay. Yeah, and that looks like lots of water in that line. Alright, so now we got our carbon coming out. . Alright, the other line we had to bring in was this guy. Oop, power pole in the wrong spot, yay. Alright, let's get our inputs on this edge. Extend it out. Yeah, let's try again with the power poles here. Okay, I'm a little bit worried about the copper and the tin, but let's let this run for a while. Alright, let's have a look up here. Okay, and there we go, our next level of boards. Now what that'll let us build is assembler 2s, the mining drill number 2, and things like our water well pump and stuff like that. So having these around is a good thing. And basically that's an important step to set us up to start building our real base here. So actually, we're not getting, if we look at this, we're not getting enough of the basic electronic components, so let's pick up some material. Okay, some steel and some iron. And what else do we need? Okay, circuits. Okay, and let's use our first couple of circuits here to make a few of these assembly machine 2s. Let's get rid of our solder at the same time, get rid of our tin. Okay. And on our toolbar, we'll change these out to assembler 2s. Okay, those run at 0.75 instead of 0.5, so it should be a 50% increase. Still probably not enough for our machines up here. Yeah. Now we can think about expanding this. We'll see how the output looks. Yeah, it looks to me if we go over here and look at our copper. Next episode we'll probably have to do something about beefing up the copper, maybe with the Jivolite or maybe just another mining setup like we had before. Okay, our science is bubbling along. Let's go into map mode here for a second. Yeah, our science is making it all the way down to the end there. We could actually expand our labs if we wanted to, but I think at this point the science is running pretty quick. Okay, and the next thing, or the last thing we can do before we go is we now have 426 steel furnaces, so I'm guessing that's probably pretty good. So we'll go into our upgrade planner, and let's go from the stone furnace to the steel furnace. Brilliant label of steel furnace here. I'll go into map mode, and let's do all of these guys. Alright, so that's all of our tin, our copper, and our iron. Let's go down and do, where was our, okay, this was the lead setup. Okay, it looks to me like we could actually make that yellow belt while we're here. Okay, and then our other setup is our steel. So we've still got 278. So let's go back to steel furnaces. Let's go for the whole whack here. That is 208. Okay. So that should increase our steel production. Not that it's not bad already, but actually, I misspoke. We'll have to upgrade to yellow belts as well too, but I won't do that right now. And we'll see how the assemblers do. They may need to be upgraded as well. But I think we've got We've got our next level of science running. We've got our second level of circuit boards, the basic electronic boards running. We've done some belt upgrades. We've done some power upgrades. Oh, quick check on power, actually. Still good. We're using 52-ish out of 108, so we're about halfway. So I think we'll call that episode 5. I've been Derpy Moose 99. This is episode 5 of Factorio Bobs and Angels.